Standing in your cul-de-sac and celebrating the new year, I noticed that the exterior of your home looks phenomenal. It looks really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Matching out that roof now.
We just got it painted with Paisley Painting, and this is a true story. My wife got this referral from one of her clients, right, that painted their house, and they did such a good job that they told her, like, hey, you should use these
Gotta love
company.
the word of mouth, man.
And when she got the quote, I was skeptical. I was like, man, that's such a good price.
That's a reasonable quote.
I was like, that's better, way better than I thought. Like, literally $1,000 less than I thought it would be, right? And then I was skeptical. I'm like, how good of work are they going to do, right?
Well, here's what I would say. As a man that's owned 3 houses and had 2 of them painted, how do I say this nicely? You can get burned.
Oh, yeah.
You can get burned.
Yeah.
But you did not. Your house looks great.
Dude, they pressure washed everything. Their crew was super friendly. They taped off everything, painted my garage door, my soffits, did an unbelievable job. Here's
what I didn't do. They pulled the dirt back, and then they painted all the way down, and they put the dirt back.
Yeah.
Like, they did they did
care.
It right. Yeah.
They're a good company, and after they were done, I was so shocked by how good they did that I was like, I called the owner, and I was like, dude, you have to advertise with us because I want to tell BDMs and tell Tom and Dan listeners about you guys. And he's like, all right, I'll try it.
Give it a shot.
And so they are right now, and it's easy to get a quote. And this is what I love about William Paisley, the owner, is because he streamlined everything. And
this is a great idea I've never heard of before.
So all you have to do is, here's the number. It's 321-696-5445. That's 321-696-5445. Just text your name, your address, and your email, and then let them know you're a BDM or a Tom and Dan listener.
Yeah, I'd put that
in the text.
there. Yeah, let them know you heard it from us.
And then they will text you back a quote. It's as easy as that, for free. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll see what I'm talking about is their prices are great. And then you could talk about, like, what color you want your house painted, what color the soffits, the garage door, the front door, all that stuff. But it's as easy as that.
Make it easy on yourself.
It's PaisleyPainting.com. I just painted my house. They did a phenomenal job. If you need the exterior of your house painted, it's PaisleyPainting.com. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
So, lots to get to today, but I want to talk about John Daly for a second.
Hot topic. It's burning. As soon as you ran in this morning, you're like, I got to talk about John Daly.
He's been showing up on my TikTok feed.
You got an interesting algorithm, my friend.
Back.
And I'm watching it, and apparently, like, maybe his son or his team got him into his social media because he's a great character for social media. And I started thinking about this, he's
like a big fat golfing island boy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right? Big fat golfing island boy.
Yeah.
You know, he's got the wacky, he's got the loudmouth clothing. He wears like
barefoot, smokes, drinks.
Yeah, he's a party dude.
And tells stories. He's a party animal. Like I said on Twitch before we started the show, he's like the Burt Kreischer of golf. And
putting up a picture for Sam so you can see what he looks like. He kind of looks like drunk party Santa Claus.
Yeah, I've discovered him now.
Yeah, there he is. He's kind of like a drunk party Santa Claus.
So then John Daly has.
He likes to smoke. There he is on the course, just chugging away. I like that.
And there's a lot of urban...
What does he do with his cigarette butts?
Throw right on the ground, like you're supposed to.
He's a little bit trashy.
Leave a little something for the squirrels.
A little bit rock and roll.
And the thing about John Daly is, and I'm no golf.
He also has
he does podcasts. Maybe we should try and get him on.
Let's try and get him on. He has the Cleveland, or he has I believe the Las Vegas Raiders owner's haircut, right? Am I getting that right?
The Mark Davis?
The Mark Look, there's a picture of him with the Mark Davis.
Yeah.
No, it's not as bad.
Why do old men decide to cut their hair to make people angry? It's anger hair.
It's a
trolling hair.
Trolling hair.
Yeah.
Why do old
Trump
white
did that.
men... Okay, so you don't see this in any other community. This is a white guy thing, right? Old white guys, like old dad, you get what I like to call... D-head hair.
Oh, yeah.
You're just doing it to make us mad.
Yeah, he's trolling.
Some might say that Tom used to do that.
Yes.
See, he didn't do it on purpose.
Yes,
he was
you had the Mark Davis. Dude, for years. You were the original owner of the Raiders.
Yeah. I'll go back now when I'm old.
No, never go back.
High and straight across bangs.
I would separate myself. I would cash out. If you said today,
You'd Antonio Brown it?
I would. I'd Antonio Brown it. If you said today, no, I cannot be around that hair anymore, dude. It's out of control. Even my hair without product, I'll go put a hat on. I can't look at it.
You're like an abused wife. I could beat you up. You'll stick around.
I do love you. I'd follow you to hell.
You'll go to your sister's house, but you'll
talk it out. I'll talk it out with her.
So John Daly
I love him.
Was, I think, a really renowned golfer.
Oh yeah, he's mega talented. Yeah,
and
Jimmy would know more about this.
Exactly. But we should call Jimmy.
But I believe John Daly. Yeah, maybe we give him a buzz. But I believe John Daly is one of those guys where he's just a sick and disgusting amount of natural golf talent.
Yes.
Like the guy is made for golf. It kind of looks like a baseball guy, right? I think this guy could have been a baseball guy.
Well,
looks like he can hit things out of the park.
Oh, baseball players are good at golf usually too. This is like the swing.
I mean, he doesn't look athletic.
No, and
he's huge though. You got to see, he's a big dude,
and he's always kind of been out of shape and a fat guy, and that's
a little dumpy.
But that's added to his urban legend, which
here he is in his prime.
He's only 5'11".
But he's massive though.
Yeah.
He's massive dude.
He's not that fat in his prime.
Okay, yeah. When he was younger,
yeah, he kind of looked like
he had the jogger back then.
Well, no, he's actually
haircut.
He's kind of rocking the haircut that a lot of different folks,
the shaggy mullet.
Like it's kind of in right now.
Yeah.
The Daly haircut of the 90s. And early 2000s is kind of back.
What's his name? I mean, this the mullet, right?
Mullet.
Like, the Theo Vaughn's got the mullet or whatever. Anyway, so...
She doesn't like Theo. Don't bring it up.
Oh, no. They say
I don't like Theo Vaughn.
So...
I don't care for him.
No, I'm joking.
I just don't find him that funny.
I like
He'll
this.
be at Dr. Phillips Center this month, I think.
I like this picture of John Daly the best, where he just has that massive Floridian... big beach dad gut. The big...
Yeah, he's got a big red brown.
My dad had one of those.
Yeah, that is the white label Mabel traditional Budweiser. It's tight. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is tight. It's like a basketball.
The tight bellies are scary, man. Matty Matheson, the chef, he's got a tight belly. The tight belly, that's the time bomb,
that's
right?
hard. Oh,
that's the time bomb.
Oh, that's the, yeah.
I think that's the time bomb, because
once your fat gets hard, it's like, why is it so hard?
When people's fat...
experience.
Like when people's fat is oozy,
good.
like I have a kind of a jiggy belly right now.
Oozy fat is
when
fine.
people see that, they go, hey, good job, you're working on it. I see what you're doing there. But when you got tight fat, people are like, where's that trying to go?
Yeah. Well, it pushes inward on your heart.
You implode.
Yeah.
It's like a star dying.
It's like the pressure's high. You know what it is?
Yeah.
Your pressure can't be high.
I can see it. I don't need to test your blood pressure. I can see that your skin is trying to hold your organs inside.
So John Daly is the best for social media because the urban legends, you know, would have been great for social media too? Like Andre the Giant. Like if he was still alive.
Fingers too big for the phone. Sorry.
He'd have a team, and just because the urban legend is so huge, I'm surprised.
No. If Andre the Giant were alive right now, and this is where we're pivoting to, he would end up just like an island boy.
Right, well, yeah, but people would consume his social media because they'd be fascinated.
I don't think they would have given him the chance.
But he had a good personality, too. Island boys don't have a good personality.
But there are plenty of people that have good personalities that are just freaks of nature, right? I feel like people would have only given him 15 seconds. You have to sit with Andre to figure out how complex he is, how kind he was, right? People say that. He was kind, he was loving. But I think you got to give him more than 20 seconds.
True, but I think through lots of TikToks, you could probably get that across, that he's a likable person. Like I think I
don't have enough time to get to that I'm likable.
That's why the Island Boys are not... like their star is fading because
they don't have it.
They're not likable.
They don't have the it factor. Wow.
People like to laugh at them, but they're not likable. And now people are trying to fight them. That's a whole other thing I want to talk about. Is like now everybody just tries. Everybody
don't fight the Island Boys.
Yells at the Island Boys and tries them, and they try to like yell back and try to fight, and then it just doesn't come across.
Do they yell back like they're? Do they like?
Oh, they try to hold
yelling at me.
No. They're trying to like.
Why you being so mean?
So John Daly,
John Daly with Island Boy hair.
He's great on social media, but here's the problem, and maybe I'm getting old and soft. But he likes to not only like his old party days are fine. I like hearing those stories, but when he still talks about how many like drinks and cigarettes he has and how unhealthy he is now, it's kind of sad.
Does he still talk about
Yes.
it? Oh.
Well,
Yeah, I like it. Let him live his life the way he wants.
yes, that's true. But it's
Not like he doesn't know the
So
dangers, right?
It's not as. It doesn't make me as happy because
So you're a bigger fan of get in, do your partying, and get out, and then tell me
because
about
that's
it.
how he lived his life.
well, when you're
You party now, dude.
No, he doesn't.
no, I don't. I don't. I
Well, you
don't.
party now, I think, than
I
most
never
adults.
really partied.
I think the three of us imbibe and party more naturally than most people do.
Yeah, I think.
I think most people don't imbibe like
the
we do.
average dad or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
I mean,
I'll drink some beers. And
Yeah.
I will smoke some weed a lot more than I think
Yeah.
the teacher of my daughter. You know,
Yeah, okay,
I don't
yeah,
think
yeah,
her
yeah,
teacher is, because our
Yeah.
career is a little different, maybe.
You'd be
I don't
We're not
surprised
John
some of these
Daly,
teachers
yeah.
get down.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. That's probably a bad example, the teacher.
I know some teachers that
Well,
party.
It's also a super hard job, so maybe that's
I mean,
a
let
bad...
them party, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm all for it. I'm not judging.
So it's interesting because
Look, just because you can't hang anymore, Tom, let John Daly live his life, man.
I heard I heard an interview with Bert Kreischer. Speaking of drinking, and
When's he going to pull back just a touch?
well, I heard him on
he
some
goes through bouts
podcast.
of it. Well,
Yeah,
we'll go
stopping
sober
it.
for a little bit.
On a podcast, I heard his quote was, "I'll never stop drinking. I'll always keep my body just healthy enough so I can keep drinking because I love it so much." Right, and that's a logical
That is, yeah.
answer to because if
Sounds
you
like
get
a guy's got it figured out.
if you get
Internally, is he healthy? I don't know.
Well, if you get blood tests and you go to the
Right,
doctor...
right.
I mean,
If you
you
got-
assume that he is, right?
if you got and he's
he gets
not
tested.
he's not as big as John Daly, and smoking, like, you do what you want, I don't care, but when you're as big and as tight as John Daly,
you be smoking cigarettes.
and
yeah.
you're-
At least pull that back. You can keep your drinks, I
and,
guess.
and you're smoking and drinking as much, and still and he's how old is John Daly? He's
55.
55. So
Chat
you're
room says 55.
so you're 55. You're like 300 and something pounds, and you're.
It said he was only like 2 something.
No, he's 300
Man,
pounds.
I don't know if it's updated or not.
I think everything we've
I
been
mean,
fed for forever is
215 pounds. That's as big as you were.
No,
yes.
He's
I don't
315.
believe that for a
yeah.
second.
No. He unless
Not for a second.
Wait a
John
minute,
Daly's
you're
tall.
as big fat as John
Wait,
Daly.
so
No.
John Daly only got to 215? At my
No.
heaviest, I was 185. That's
No.
so wrong. No, ma'am.
Look at
that. Didn't know.
John Daly's over 300 pounds.
He's a big fat chongus.
Anyway,
It says he lost 60 pounds on a diet of whiskey, cigarettes, and popcorn. I love this guy. I love this guy.
Popcorn.
it is
Hold
good.
on.
When you're watching, and maybe I do. I don't even care. Do what you want. I'm just saying, when you brag about it now, it's kind of like, oh.
What was the other thing?
You're
Whiskey?
55 and you're
Whiskey,
300 pounds.
cigarettes, and popcorn. That's a country song.
You're gonna die, right, from this.
Those are
like,
three
you
things.
can't keep it up for
No.
how long can you keep it up for?
You can't.
Like, not when you're like, if any, right?
30 years.
It's all genetics because some people drink and smoke until they're 100 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but are they as big as John Daly? You know what I'm saying? Like, there are you get the old
There's anomalies
skinny
out there.
guy. Yeah, there is anomalies. You're right, and maybe he could do this for another 15 years, no problem.
Is he
but
really
I don't know.
doing
I don't
it,
know.
or is it just the legend?
You're right, and maybe it's
You
just
know?
Maybe the
that-
image.
maybe he doesn't really do it.
I don't know. It is fascinating though.
I
because
hope he lives forever.
Yeah, I mean, he's
it's
fun.
a great character.
Drinking and smoking and eating popcorn.
And he's got, and again, the stories. Like, I like hearing all the stories,
Yeah.
but
the folklore's pretty dope, man.
it's the same thing with the Jackass guys still doing it. Like, there's a certain amount of time where, like, you get to a certain age that if you're still doing what you were doing in your 20s or whatever, it starts to turn sad for me. You know, even
Okay, let me give you one.
Like,
Let me give you one.
still, you know,
Lemmy. You would still see him up until the time he died. You would still
he had a problem, though.
Absolutely, he did. But you would still see him at the Rainbow, at the video poker machine. Like, this is like a known thing that I've read. And like, look, I've
You weren't there personally,
not
but
there
yeah,
personally,
yeah.
but I have read in multiple publications that are reputable and not fake newsy type stuff that you could just saunter up to the Rainbow, and there would be Lemmy sitting at video poker drinking like any day of the week, like a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
And it was like a known
it's
thing
fine.
that he would always be there. Now, is that sad to you? If you saw that, does that diminish a little bit of his kind of rock and roll-y deal? Like where?
I mean,
maybe that's a bad example. I don't know.
No, I see what you're saying. It's like you're sitting like an old man at
Because he is
video
just an old
poker,
drunk.
like
Yeah.
You know,
getting
like
drunk all day.
If
I
you
mean,
pull the rock and
do
roll
whatever
away,
you want.
he's any guy at any VFW,
But
right?
but it's like, you know, getting hammered all day, playing video poker, drinking is not really cool.
Oh, Dan
that's
Paul added to that.
Is that
I didn't
cool?
know that. Dan
Do what you
Paul-
want, but
Dan Paul in the Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. He says, Lemmy had his mail delivered to the Rainbow. That's hilarious, dude.
I mean, at a certain when does it become sad though? That's like, is that cool?
I guess
Like, that's kind of sad.
Well, if that's
Yeah,
if you really love the bar and you enjoy that and that's what you live for, kind of like what Bert was saying when Bert says, you know, I'm
I
just
like
gonna,
drinking too. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know.
I'm not saying anything bad about drinking or anything like this. I drink damn near. I mean, every day. So
You didn't put
who am
damn
I?
near in front of that.
Who am I to say
Who are you
anything?
to judge?
But I'm just saying when you tell someone like all the stuff you're doing and you look unhealthy, you're like, man. I hope, because I like you, John Daly, and I like, it's just like, are you just like,
But if he stopped it
killing
all
yourself?
today, is he then lame-o? Would you still like him?
Not
If he
as
was just a
much.
boring old white
I know,
man that
yeah,
golfs?
you're
Like
right.
if he were golfing,
You're
dressed,
right.
dressed to the nines
You
and
can't
skinny.
win with you, Tom.
I know,
Oh my god!
I know.
Holy smokes.
It wouldn't be the character. I like the character.
Oh my god! What just happened?
Well, it's like it's why I liked Ric Flair.
Guys, I think I have corona.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, would it bother? Okay, the Ric Flair, that's a perfect example. Thank you for bringing up Ric Flair. Ric Flair is perfect for me in the idea that I love Ric Flair. I love the image of Ric Flair. I love all his stories. I'm not saying he's a great person. I'm just saying I enjoy him.
The documentary was kind of sad.
It
made me kind of sad for him a little bit because
He's pissed a lot of people off, made a lot of people mad.
the character was great, but the reality was like, oh man, and like his son passed away, and like and it looks like this whole facade that he was trying to build.
Yeah.
It was
I
like
forgot about David Flair.
You
Right?
know,
Isn't that who?
I
believe his
I'm
son
not
was
sure.
David. He was a wrestler as well.
and he had an addiction
he
problem,
was a
and then
wrestler too. I forgot about that.
and if you watch the Ric Flair documentary, I think it's on
Reed
HBO.
Flair, somebody's saying.
Reed,
I don't.
yeah.
David is alive. Okay,
But
good. Thank you, Ghost, for helping me with. Okay, Reed. I didn't know he had a kid pass away. My God.
The Ric Flair character is awesome, and his life is awesome.
Oh, when he's
but
pumping up the
it's
Atlanta
sad, though.
Falcons and he's doing
Can-
the woo and he's doing the gimmick. Yeah, it's
Can you be
hilarious.
awesome and sad at the same time?
Yes.
That's it. Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
You're talking it out.
Okay.
Because Lemmy is awesome and sad at the same time.
Yes. Okay.
You know,
so
let's-
it can be awesome and sad.
Dude, we can probably name a lot of people that are awesome and sad at the same time. Antonio Brown is awesome
Yes.
and sad at the same
Okay,
time.
yes, all right.
We need a new
Hold
term
on.
for this.
Kanye West,
Yeah,
awesome and sad.
awesome and sad. You're figuring this out, and I like. What do we call? Is it just awesome sad?
I don't
You're
know.
awesome,
Man,
sad.
Kanye West may be out of the sad.
I'm not sad for
category
him.
because
No, I worry about
he's
his
still,
family, but he's good.
He's still
He's fine.
like even the stuff he does makes him more successful. So, and the Antonio Brown
Yeah,
thing,
but
I
he
don't
does
think
some
is going
erratic
to.
stuff, and he has children, and that makes me sad.
Yeah,
Can't disagree with
Sorry.
that.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no,
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 you're
no,
right.
no,
Not
no,
to be a-
Spoken as a person who went
Awesome
through
and sad.
a version of life that you would have preferred maybe a different version of your dad. I think
He
it's
probably needed to be on medication.
Yeah, that's an
You know what
accurate
I mean?
way of saying it.
Undiagnosed.
Yeah.
But we need awesome and sad, right? Because because everybody knows what you kind of have to do in life, and we all are doing
get
it.
it. We
You're
all get it.
working,
We
you're trying
get
to
it.
raise your kids or whatever. You're just trying to work a job and like save some money for when you get old. You know, you do the standard. And then you see these awesome people living these crazy lives, and then we need to live vicariously through them. But if you break it all down, Ric Flair had a sad life that looked kind of sad
I have proof.
in his documentary.
Again, Ghost and Manu Bull in our Twitch chat room. And hey, you can
It
join.
was awesome, though.
You can join our Twitch chat room and be a part of our show live, like right now. Twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. We'd love to have you. Ghost says, I saw Sting, the wrestler Sting, and Ric Flair at a panel at Dragon Con. And a fan asked Rick if he could do anything different in his career, what would he do? Rick's response was, quote, I wish I was more of a father to my son than I'd been a friend. And then the whole convention hall got really quiet.
That's a sad thing to say.
There's your proof.
But Ric Flair is awesome.
He is awesome, but
and
it's
his story
so
is
sad.
awesome. And
But
he
possibly just not an awesome dad.
No,
No.
I think he knows he's
Right,
not an
that's
awesome
what I'm
dad.
saying.
Yeah.
Is that's what he was
But
saying.
the-
is-
he knows he's-
But the fact that he
That's the
knows
one
it
regret, maybe.
and regrets it, and his son passed away, and all this stuff is sad.
Yeah, real
oh,
sad.
of course.
And can you be ultimately awesome?
I don't
and
think anyone can be
never
100%
spend-
awesome. There's got to be elements of sadness.
You're right.
There's got to be.
I'm 100%
Because you're
because-
sacrificing some things, right, to be awesome or to have live this awesome life.
You're
right.
correct.
And-
Pete
and
Davidson
if you were
is sacrificing other things that he would be doing, right? Because I think he's pretty awesome.
And if you were totally responsible, it wouldn't be as awesome.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Because, like,
Being responsible, not awesome.
because you're right.
It's lame.
My God,
Look,
this
you
is
have
so-
to do it to be an adult, but it's lame.
so
Yeah.
heavy. I'm so
And we
confused
don't,
right
like,
now.
If I saw,
I'm having an existential crisis. Hold on.
If John Daly
I'm
actually
about to
said,
Antonio Brown it.
yeah, we all quit the show.
like, if he said, like, listen, I don't drink that much.
Hold on, Sam's
like,
Antonio Browning it. I got to see this.
yeah, if I watched the Ric Flair documentary and he was a responsible person and this was all an act and a character and then he kept it together and didn't drink 13
Right,
drinks a
right.
day, and it wouldn't be awesome, right? So then, but because it's legitimate, it's awesome. But then the sadness comes with it. All right, we figured it out,
Dude,
That's it. Awesome and sad.
I have a
The yin and the yang.
I have to confess something to you. You told me I should watch the Ric Flair 30 for 30.
You haven't watched that yet?
I don't want to. He told me it will change the way I feel about my favorite wrestler.
No, it's an awesome story. It's just. It's sad.
Yeah,
A little
honestly,
bit.
Sam, most of it
It's awesome and sad.
most of it
don't
I
know.
already know, and I don't want to do the
Yeah.
sad parts. I've had enough sad.
Yeah, but the awesome parts are truly amazing. And that's
EJ chiming in, who said he won't come in today because we've all had corona.
That's fine.
EJ said Tom is his John Daly. You are his
No,
John.
no.
Wow.
I'm not. It's not
Insulting.
I'm not awesome enough for it to be sad. You know,
I
what I'm
think you're
saying
pretty awesome.
you
You don't have enough sad, I don't think.
I've hit well.
You're boring dad now.
Yeah, you don't have enough sad. Your kids are beautiful. Your wife's beautiful.
You started sad, got slightly
Yeah.
awesome, back to sad.
I don't think he's sad. I don't see anything sad. He might be sad, but his
Sad
existence.
meaning he's responsible adult and dad now.
okay.
Yeah.
That I
Not
can
partying,
that I
not
can
going
agree
out
with.
doing crazy antics,
That
no
I-
stunts.
So
Yeah.
the sad
Yeah.
part is the awesome left.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
And that's normally what happens in a normal person's
Of
life,
course.
right?
You grow
if
up.
if I kept
start-
it awesome, I
That's
wouldn't.
why I got Peter Pan syndrome.
Yeah.
I'm hanging on to that youth.
Because
Interesting.
Well, now especially with when you take
don't
the
wanna grow
kids
up.
out of it, then it takes a lot of the sadness possibilities out.
Yeah.
right. Because when you add the kids,
Oh,
sadness.
sad.
It's easy to get in there because you can let them down so easily.
Well,
right?
you have to stop being awesome. Because if you're going
At
to be
least
a
a
good
little bit,
parent,
yes.
yeah. And so when you start,
I agree.
it's either sad because you stop being awesome, or if you kept being awesome, it's sad because you do
Bad parent.
There it
Yeah,
is.
there it is.
And that's
Do you
it.
know how hard it is for me to secretly be awesome? Do you know how hard that is?
How do you hide it?
I mean, I don't want to
You
tell
just
you.
stay off social
if
media?
if I tell
Yeah.
you, you'll start seeing it. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want you to. I don't want you to get into my tricks.
Because like that's the thing where like if someone is an insane celebrity that's working and touring insane amount of time, unless their family is touring with them, which like I know some band
I don't
people
want my
do.
family to tour with me because I want the luxury of being able to do things out from under their
It'd be
eyesight.
awesome.
You know, I
But-
don't want my wife seeing me when I'm not saying I do anything bad, but after a concert, I like to flirt with my groupies a little bit. It's playful. It's nothing, there's no touching involved. It's all just kind of like wordsmith role play.
Because if
A lot of playful talking.
your life is awesome, but if you're gone so much from your family, that's a little sad, right?
I'm always
It's like,
Their
Yeah.
life is not awesome.
I'm always
because-
gone from
Yeah,
my
because then
family.
you're gone. Yeah,
I am forever gone from my family. Podcasting, the road for a podcaster, we're always on the road. I mean, how many years have we done this, and how many days are we out on the road?
If you
There is something very sexy to me about the road. Not to steal from Tenacious D, but there is something attractive to me about, like, you're on the tour bus and you're heading out, and
Well, it's a freedom.
you're a
You're just-
loner.
Well-
going to a new town. They got the diners in here. Let's get some breakfast before we rock this place sideways.
Because then you're eating fast food, and that's
Yeah,
sad.
Yeah, but I'm doing enough drugs. I'm doing enough drugs to
Okay,
offset that.
okay.
right?
Well, Back in.
And you could do
I'm
that.
coke crazy.
up until a point, and that's where it becomes where
we take a
it's
break.
Awesome
you take a break and you come home and then you let your wife dote on you and like kind of nurse
Miss
you
you
back
so
to health.
much.
Yeah, and then you go back on the road. It's like kind of being like a trucker, except you're cooler than a trucker. Slightly. Truckers keep America running. I don't want to disparage, but I'm just saying rock star. A little bit cooler.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
And this gentleman's going to be at the Hard Rock Live on Friday. Get your tickets now because I guarantee it's going to sell out.
Indeed.
And
we are obligated to say that it is for mature audiences.
Yes.
We have been told to say that.
On the line with us, Bob Saget. How you doing, Bob?
I'm good. It's so funny because I have the most immature act that there is. It's not even an act; it's just me. But I think I've matured. I'm a grown man now, so I got some facial hair. I manscape now and then, but otherwise I do what I can.
So, Bob, I got to ask you because we did some commercials for your show with Hard Rock Live.
Yes,
and in the commercial copy, they made sure to tell us you have to put. It's for mature audiences.
Mm-hmm.
You have to say that in the in the copy to tell people. And I'm like, and the first thing I thought was like, people know Bob Saget's comedy by now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They're not confused by Full House and America's Funniest Home Videos.
No, we're intelligent and we know the difference between when he's doing Bob, Dad Bob, and when he's doing like Crazy Bob.
Well,
I'm a chameleon. If I've got kids in the audience, I can't do that show. I just I make them leave. Or I do the show and it's 6 minutes long.
But Bob,
it's funny. They have all different disclaimers. I had one that I have them use sometimes, or 17 years old with a good fake ID.
But by this time, Bob, does that reputation of the clean Bob Saget, that everything, the beloved dad, I feel like now in 2022. People know you, Bob, and they know your comedy, and they know, and it almost went to the extreme where for a while there was this urban legend that, have you seen Bob Saget's do stand-up? He's so filthy, it's unbelievable.
Right.
It became too far.
It is like people built you up to sound as if you're comedy. Like you go there and you're going to hear like the worst and most filthy thing, and I'm like,
you're going to turn into skeletons like in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, exactly.
How did that happen, Bob?
Well, I've been doing stand-up since I'm 17 years old, 15 years old, really. But 17, I won a radio contest at a station in Philly called WMMR, and I was a big fan of Martin Mull, who did comedy songs. Yeah. And I'm actually doing directing a documentary about him right now.
No way!
Awesome.
Steve Martin and Eric Idle and David Allen Greer. It's really cool. But
that's amazing.
But because he's one of the people that influenced me a lot to write good comedy songs, and so my act used to be all that. So I was like 17, and I won a radio contest with a song called Bondage. So now if a 17-year-old kid is on stage singing a song called Bondage, there's something wrong with him, and that was me.
Yeah, well, but it's cool that you have done so many different things, and like the guys, we were all sitting in the office having lunch, and we pulled up the original documentary from Temple, Through Adam's Eyes, that you won.
Oh, guys.
And we watched it, and we saw that you won the Emmy for it.
I won the student Oscar, and that was my nephew that was 7 years old that had his face reconstructed, and it was very touching. It was him. He was just an amazing kid.
Yeah, and it's so cool though that like, and that was so serious, right? So we're watching this during lunch, and we're seeing this, and we're seeing these different facets of you and what you do and what you're into. You have the podcast, you've done blue comedy, you've done clean comedy, you've done
movies
corny comedy, you've done the clip shows before they were even called clip shows, right?
Singing competitions.
Yeah, singing competitions, song parodies.
Yeah, there was no Wi-Fi when I was.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, which do you enjoy more, or is it just all of it, and it's always going to be all of it until you're gone? Is that the vibe? You're always.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't understand retirement, so I'm never going to be done. I have friends. I have a friend, thank God, Norman Lear is 99. The guy, I'm able to smoke cigars with him. Right now, we're not because we're kind of taking it low because there's a new variant cigar that apparently is very quick burning.
Oh,
But you have to smoke it through a mask, and he doesn't want to do that. But he's a sage, you know, and he never stops working. He's producing 3 shows right now. He's 99, but he's Norman Lear. Wow. I am of the mindset. I've always been a workaholic. I love directing. I'm working on a new project now. I love acting. We got a movie that'll be coming out. It used to be called Blue Iguana when we shot it in the Cayman Islands, but thank God they changed the name to Over Your Dead Body, so that'll be coming out later this year. And I've just been on tour like a banshee. I started going on tour when, well, at first, I hadn't done stand-up for about 9-10 months after March 2020, because that's when the world...
that
was a great...
We're from Florida, Bob. We don't believe in that.
Well, I've been coming to Florida. Are you kidding? You're the first place I went. My agent said, go to Florida, Texas.
Yeah.
I said, is that a city? Is that a new city? I've been all through Florida. In fact, I'm coming Friday, of course, to you guys.
Yep.
And then the next night, I'm in Jacksonville. It's my 3rd time in Jacksonville this year.
Nice.
Or last year. So, oh God, the year changed. What do I do now?
Yeah, we were just talking about how stupid that is. They were 3 very close together. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. So, I mean, I've always played Florida. I'm actually going to be in West Palm Beach and at the end of the month because I'm just poaching Florida.
Well, we're open, baby.
A lot of venues open here.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing things.
I love it. I was in Austin, Texas a couple weeks ago, played the Paramount Theater. I'm doing a lot, and I'm not stopping stand-up. I'm going to do a new special. So right now, I would say my favorite thing is, it's always what I'm doing at the moment. So I love stand-up more now than I ever have because I actually have a purpose, and that is to somehow figure out how do I entertain a couple thousand people or a couple hundred people. Well, it's not a couple hundred. It's always more, but whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever number of people it is that may think differently. A lot of places you'll go, everybody kind of thinks the same way. It depends on where you are. You know, I was in Omaha. You had kind of one way of thinking. A little more woke people, some a little more conservative, and you know, the extremes of either side don't really help a comedian too much if they get angry. So I don't want anger. I just want, if you're not happy, you get your money back. These other people are going to have fun, but I'm not making fun of anybody for what they believe unless it's like nuts, unless they're telling me, you know, there are people that'll tell you. I used to have a joke that men can breastfeed. I was like starting out, one of my jokes, men can breastfeed. I read that. Okay, I wrote it down, and then I read it, so it has to be true. And that's kind of where we're at. You know, you could write something down and just say, oh, I read that. You know, it's just anything. You know, that chair is a glass of water. You know, oh, okay. But I also want to have fun with it all, and I like silly comedy. That's why it's so funny. It says for mature audiences because it ain't. Some of it's mature, some of it is.
It's funny because it's not even like going back to the urban legend. It's not even that. Like, it's not like you'd be like, oh my God, I've never heard these things before.
I'm less of that. I don't even, some people go gynecological in their dialogue. I'm like, wow. Nikki Glazer's a friend of mine. I'm like, Nikki, wow.
Yeah,
I remember when I was like that. I did that on an HBO special, and I got in trouble for that. You know?
Yeah. Like we've had Nikki on the show, and then Sam and I just saw her, and it's funny because
she's awesome.
She's dirtier than you, Bob.
Yeah, she is awesome.
She's dirtier, and she's so likable, and those are the people that I flock to. I mean, I have different, like I do my podcast. That's another way of connecting. It does well. Not as good as you guys, because you guys, you know, you're calling yourselves mediocre.
You're lying. It's not true. Your podcast is a beast.
You just talked to BJ Novak. I've been seeing the episodes, and I'm sure you have access to the biggest celebrities because you've been in show business for so long.
You're Bob Saget, for Christ's sake.
You could just call anybody and have them on your show,
they won't. Not everybody will do it. Some people don't, and I don't. You know, I look in the mirror in the morning and I go, I'm Bob Saget, for Christ's sakes. I do that every day.
I was going to say, who's turned down Bob Saget's
podcast? The first thing I say before I shave my chest, that's the first thing I say.
Yeah, who's turned you down, Bob, where you called up and wouldn't do Bob Saget's podcast?
Oprah. never heard back.
Well, Bob, this brings up an interesting question that I had when I knew we were going to talk to you, because we've met you before years ago in the radio days when you were here in Orlando, and you're super nice and approachable, but you're also one of the most famous people I've ever met because I grew up watching you. I'm 40 years old, like it was prime time,
right.
And everybody in my demographic knows Bob Saget.
Yeah, and this is not meant to be disrespectful, but we are not Alfonso people like my daughter is. I'm a Bob Saget man because I was raised that way.
So
Right.
Bob, yeah, it's got to be hard for a person that is as famous and as recognizable as you and as approachable as you are, because you're a super nice person, and I've met you before, and you're very approachable.
We
very
went to
nice.
Club Paris with him. I don't know if you remember that, Bob, but we went to Club Paris here in town.
It was 15.
Oh, my God, I do remember that.
It was me and you.
I'm scared right now.
Me and you standing at the door of Club Paris, and we were making fun of Club Paris, and we were making jokes and crapping all over it because it was an abomination, and we went in and we partied.
But we also saw
And
many
it
people.
closed down instantly, like a week later.
Yeah,
Club Paris was gone.
So how is it, Bob, going through life being that approachable, and because that's your perception that people can probably go up and take a picture with you, talk to you and stuff, that's got to be rough as a human being just trying to go through life. Am I right about that? Is it hard to go
depends. You go through phases, and my fame's different than other people's. I know some actor who's very smart. I'm trying to think who it was. Was it Keanu? I can't remember. But some actor said, and it's hard to say actor and smart all the time in the same sentence. But and I'm an actor, and I'm not very smart. But someone said, I've decided not, and it becomes news because there's nothing to talk about except everything that's wrong and terrible. So this will be news, that they're not going to shake hands anymore or sign autographs or take pictures, but they'll have a conversation with you if it's interesting. And I found that kind of interesting, but that's like 19 hours.
Right.
Yeah, so can you go out, Bob, and just live? I mean, I feel like you'd be inundated.
I live my life. I mean, I also, because of L.A. and restrictions and stuff, there's only a few restaurants that we can even go to. So many businesses got hurt, as you know, in this thing. Not in Florida, because, yes, in Florida. I know people that close places in Florida.
Yeah, they're doing it.
Yeah, and that's why I'm excited to come back. I mean, the Hard Rock was closed for a while. Probably 10 minutes, but it was closed for... oh, hell, let's just put a show on. But put up the chicken wire. We're going back to the old days. Yeah. But I just think people are people until they give me a reason to go, okay, thank you so much, have a good one. Or if I'm talking to them, or while I'm talking to them, I actually see the green... what you see on a biology show of the COVID, that little green spiky thing floating out of their mouth. If it's like floating around them like a moon around a planet, then I know they probably might have an infection, so I'd probably back off, Let me take the selfie from over here, because this green thing that came out of you is still floating near me.
Exactly.
Because people are carriers anyway of anything. I mean, you can get fleas from somebody.
We just got over it. All three of us got the
COVID,
Omicron. We got the old Omicron.
It's very popular. It's doing very well.
Yeah.
I bought a lot of stock in it, like Bitcoin. It is not good. It does not feel good. I had it. And,
that's not good.
I don't know if I had Delta or I might have had a combo. Maybe at one point they were working together. I don't know. I think at one point Omicron was opening for Delta, but then Omicron got so big, Delta's opening now.
Yeah, they switched. You're right. They switched the lineup because it wasn't landing well with the audience. He's exactly right.
No. Bigger rooms, they said. We want to play bigger rooms.
Bob,
we want to do arenas.
Bob,
but also, people think I'm dirty, but they don't now, because the way I'm doing it now, it's kind of I'm me more than I've ever been, so it's kind of a combo platter of what it's like to be out on stage. You're in front of whatever the capacity is of the Hard Rock Friday, for example. I don't know what it is, 1,500, 1,200, 1,700. And or 500, depending on what happens and somebody gets scared that day because some news report comes out. That's been happening, too. Shows have been half full, a third full. People buy tickets. They don't show up. Sometimes they don't want their money back. They just don't want to leave. It depends on the age of the person. It's weird.
I've been
Even
hearing
in
that a lot.
Florida and Texas.
Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot from other people where they say that, it'll be like a sellout or it'll be like close to a sellout. But then when you look out, and you can imagine that for a comedian, you asked about the numbers because you want to know what you're up against, right? And then they say, we're good.
Always.
And then you go out there and nobody's out there and they bought the tickets and they don't even want their money back. And that's been happening a lot.
Yeah.
And I, because I'm 65 now, which is really weird.
Oh, you're
because,
not. What?
Yeah, I am. My testicles are 40. I had them redone, but I had them pinned back. But
I need that. I got a varicocele.
I'll do it.
I got a varicocele on my left side. And it's pulling it down, and they're getting longer as I get old.
Yeah. I got a kit in the car. I'll fix it. If you come to the show, I can do it. It's in my trunk.
Quick. It's quick.
We'll just nip them up. We'll pick them up in the back, and then you can hook your keys on them, too. I do a whole thing. There's 3 different options. You can have it polyglycoded if you want.
I like that. Yeah, let's just.
It used to be a thing.
Give me option 3.
But the thing is, with audiences, I don't care. I mean, I'm going to entertain that audience to the best of my ability for what's there, for whatever's there. So if it's half full, I go, wow, that's disappointing. And then all of a sudden, 200 more people show up because they decide at the last minute, what the hell? When are we going to see Bob? He might die from COVID. Let's go see him.
Don't say that.
Bob, I got to ask you a director question because you directed a movie that's fascinating to me because I love the movie. It became like a pop culture comedy that everybody watches. The movie's Dirty Work, and it starred Artie Lang and Norm Macdonald. And the only thing I can think
That's
of is
a legendary movie.
How hard was it to direct Artie Lang and Norm Macdonald in the movie?
It was very easy.
Really?
They're my friends.
I told you.
I mean, I got Artie the job. I said Norm and I said first thing I get sad because I love Norm very much.
Yeah,
man.
And I met Norm. Norm was 17. I'm the first comic he ever saw in Ottawa, Canada. I was 21 or 22, and all these years I kept going, how can you not be older than me? And then the last, we were working on something, and it's unfortunate. I was in contact with him a little bit, mostly texting near the end. But when we did the movie, the hardest part was, it's always hard when you're working with writers, especially comedy.
Yeah.
Everybody takes it really seriously because the goal is to make the funniest movie ever made.
And that's
the odds
hard.
of that,
That's hard.
It's really hard, and the movie, we had some great people on it. George Folsey edited it. He edited Animal House. He did a really good job. But everybody was really good, and it was Chris Farley's last movie, and he was unbelievable in it. He was just unbelievable. And I love Artie so much, and Norm. It was Norm's movie, really. I mean, that's what it was. MGM said, let's get into this kind of Saturday Night Live star business, and what kind of movie do you want to make, Norm? Yeah. And it was a spec script written by Frank Sebastiano, who used to write on Saturday Night Live, the news with Norm. And then Fred Wolf is a big comedy writer, also worked on SNL when I met him, and gone on to bigger things, and they were the other writers. And it's hard, but it was I had no trouble with Norm. It was funny, we had Entertainment Tonight there on the set, and I go over to give Norm a note. We're about to do a scene and do a retake of a shot, and Norm goes, "Why am I taking direction from the dad on Full House?" And he said it loud enough so the ET crew could pick it up. That was the whole deal: just make fun of Bob as much as you can. But it was, it was a gift to do that thing.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of funny stories, but it's also tragic when we lose really good people. It's just really, especially funny people. My goal is to keep Artie alive. That's
right. But it was so, and I admire it because my father did pretty much the same thing with with like leaking the details or sharing it, because it is very private when you're dealing with something, and I really respected the way that he kind of just handled it on his own terms and did his thing, not to get sad and morbid, but my dad did the same thing. I mean, he minimized the damage for other people. He thought that was the correct choice, and he did it his way. And
you knew about it?
I did not. So it was very much like Norm to, let's say, the audience, like maybe
Not
you guys.
talk about it,
I would say your friends probably knew more about him, but for those of us that enjoyed Norm, we didn't really know, right? So it happened, and then we were shocked. Same thing, kind of like with my dad. It just kind of happened.
It seemed like it happened fast and no one knew.
But I like it. I like that he controlled it because it's his.
Well, there's dignity that comes with that, because when you're sick, there's things that happen, which is pity.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to be pitied, and there's other things that come with it, which is, you get babied or you get told you can't do this,
right.
You can't do that, and it's your life, and you want to be able to live it. It's not like he's going to go out and get a bunch of, cocaine and hookers.
Right.
Although if he wanted, I would have gotten them for him. I'm sorry about it. I lost both my parents too.
It's rough, but I am glad that Norm got to choose it and do it his way. I just think, and was there any other way? Probably not, because that sounds very much like him.
No, and it'd been a long time, and also I knew something was wrong because I was close enough with him to know that.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was other stuff that was serious, but I didn't realize that he had been going through so much. He was. And he was just a very one of the most interesting people that I'll ever know in my life. I mean, and I really knew him. I mean, we had a silent language. We would just be able to. We'd be in a room and people would do something, and we'd just look at each other, and we didn't have to say anything.
Yeah, the joke. That's a special kind of a connection with a thought joke. Like, you guys just had thought jokes, like where you could just look at something, he looks at it, you look at each other, and you're laughing. That's all.
Yeah, because the joke's right in front of you. It's like some guy trying to start a motorcycle and he can't do it, but it falls over and he picks. It's just life. It's the stuff people laugh at. Just watching life sometimes. Just an awkward guy having a problem, and you just look at each other, and then eventually somebody that, if you're a comedian, especially, somebody eventually will say something like, this guy's really got it all together. This is something really just a comment, just to add something. But that's the joy of comedy. Yeah. That's the joy of knowing funny people. That's the joy of what you guys get joy out of. That's why people come see comedy. I mean, look how powerful comedy is. And right now, a bunch of arena shows are getting canceled for my friends that are doing them, and there's about 5-6 people that are out there doing 20,000 seats more. Dave and Bill Burr's now about to start a big arena tour, and he's not going to spend his life doing arena tours. But when you get that big, you might as well do it. And I just love him. In fact, my podcast is with his company now, All Things Comedy.
Yeah. We know some of those guys. I got some buddies over there. Man, it is so awesome to get to chat with you, and we really appreciate your time. And you just mentioned it, the power of comedy. I hope everybody goes and sees you.
Yeah, Hard Rock Live this Friday, January 7th. Get your tickets now. Also, check out Bob's podcasts. Bob Saget's here for you on All Things Comedy.
Indeed.
Also, go to bobsaget.com, which is crazy that you have ownership of that domain name. Did you buy that in the 90s?
I had to actually get that because when they see a famous person, they buy up the .com.
I was going to ask you because I thought to myself, someone definitely bought bobsaget.com, and then Bob had to buy it from them, right?
Man. They lived in Italy. I'm like, what? what? bobsaget.com. That's my accent. That's my video show voice. That's the when I would narrate the videos. bobsaget.com. That was the offensive for all Italians everywhere.
What did he sell it to you for?
I'm sorry?
What did he sell it to you for? Like
$2,000. I had to pay $2,000 for my name.
But he got gouged. $2,000. It's a $7 domain.
Yeah, but I thought it was going to be like he demanded like $20,000.
So he was a fair Italian. I don't believe
No, I
it.
think maybe for him it was a big deal. Maybe he bought himself some pasta. I don't know.
Yeah, get him.
Can't do those jokes. Can't do those jokes. I think I could do Italian jokes.
You're good with pasta.
Italian,
I'm
Irish.
almost Italian.
Yeah. Albino, all of them on the table.
And no pasta in Florida.
Albino is rough. It's hard because of the lighting. You got to be very careful. You want to hand out those matrix glasses to that audience if you're doing it. That's not even funny because they're actually people that I think I should stop that.
Yeah, let's stop.
Well, Bob, good luck.
I will say the best thing is that a car at night will see you on the road. I think that's the best.
I think that fixed it.
I think I was right the first time, and then that I should have stopped. Well, Bob, you fixed that good.
Thank you for your time, my man. It's always a pleasure, and
Thanks so much.
Have fun when you're in Orlando. We're looking forward to seeing you. Okay?
I hope you can come to the show. Can you come?
Yeah. I definitely can make it out there. So I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna reach out to LT over in the.
I'll my guy reach out because it used to be like Radio Paola. You would get like a refrigerator and steaks and stuff. I don't know. I didn't live those days, but 30, 40 years ago, that's what they would do. I'll send you some steaks. You come to my show.
All right. I love it. I'll take you up on it. Well, have a good one, man, and thanks for the time. We'll talk to you soon.
Take it easy. Thanks so much.
All right,
Be good, Bob. What a good dude, right? It's always fun chatting with him.
Again, like just how you hear on the interview, he's super down to earth.
He's sick, by the way. He didn't say that, and I was wondering if he was going to bring it up. Too professional to do that. He's like, nah, they don't care. People don't care if I'm sick. I'm here to perform. I'm here to do my thing. I do my thing. You don't care about my sickness.
Yeah, and also if you mention that you're sick at all, no matter what, everything goes to COVID instantly, which is understandable. But it's not always COVID. There's
I didn't go that though when he said that because I'm from Florida and we don't do that. I'm like, you sick? What do you get a cold?
But man, he's like, I know he said that it's fine. People come up to me or whatever. But man, he's got to be like, you walk down the street. Everybody wants to take a picture with you, right? And talk to you, Bob Saget.
I don't know.
He's such a famous, recognizable figure.
What's his IQ?
It's
Probably pretty good.
I think real good. I think real good, though.
Yeah, but
he strikes me as one of those people that's secretly like a genius or something.
It's got to be hard, though.
Have you ever seen him navigate, like on his TikTok or something, navigate people?
No, he's probably good at it.
And it's very patient and very... It's natural.
You know how, like, have you heard how, like, Keanu Reeves, he brought it up, but Keanu Reeves will, like, ride the subway in New York and stuff, and, like, no one would bother him because, and I heard some interview or someone talking about something he said.
It smells like poo-poo.
Well, that he just, like, it's his demeanor makes people...
Like, you don't want to bother him.
Like, like, he's just sitting there, like, looking... Well, not even the mean face, like, just because he's, like, a relaxed, normal person, he doesn't, like, come off as a celebrity.
I would bother him. If I walked on a subway...
People are so dumb, like, they would be like, oh, my God, Keanu Reeves.
Like, no, that's not true. This is a fake story. If I saw Keanu Reeves on the subway, and he's sitting there like a cool dude, I'd be like, holy crap, you're Keanu Reeves. Let me get a selfie.
Really?
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a bunch of
I'm giving you an honest
videos.
answer. I think everybody...
there's a bunch of videos of people just filming Keanu Reeves, and he's just sitting there, and no one's bothering him. It's on. It's a bunch of social media. It's a thing.
It's fake.
Is it fake?
It's fake. Everything's fake.
I think it's real.
No, but no, you know what reality is now? Reality is taking your phone out of your pocket and filming something and then telling whoever you're filming, your subject, do what they don't expect. Because I'm going to put it on the internet and I'm going to get my fame. We're addicted to it. Like, look, fish out of water. Look, fish out of water. Look, fish out of... look. No.
Everybody's trying to...
No. It's never as complicated as you think it is. It's always simple. Yeah. If Keanu Reeves gets on the subway, people mob him. Guaranteed. No one can change my mind. No one can change my mind.
They have to. Look at the world we live in. They're not mobbing Keanu Reeves.
Why would you video that? Give me the purpose of a video of Keanu Reeves not being mobbed. What's the purpose of a video of him not being mobbed?
Just to say that you saw Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, but that didn't happen is my point. You're filming it, but it didn't happen.
Look up Keanu Reeves rides the subway. It's a thing that people film Keanu Reeves just sitting there minding his business in real life. It could be fake. I don't know.
No, fake.
I was listening to some podcast talk about it, and
no, I've heard it before too. You're right, but I don't believe it.
It's like how are they not?
I don't believe it
because how are they not running up to Keanu Reeves asking for selfies? Right? Everybody's going to do that. I wouldn't do that because I'm too awkward, but every other...
Any celebrity that I've ever seen that's like a
There's
mega...
a Twitter account called Keanu Doing Things.
It's an internet thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's real or...
I don't think it's real.
Or they're just catching the small...
Who's the most famous person you've
Yeah,
ever
you don't know
seen?
if that little snippet's like before or after people
Yeah,
are
yeah, that's what I mean.
harassing.
Yes, it's in between mobs.
Don Shula was the most famous, personally, that I've ever met in real
Who?
life.
Wow, that
Don
is like
Shula.
Oh, that's a
the old
really
Miami Dolphins
disappointing
football coach.
answer.
Any
Probably that-
relation to Tommy Chula?
I stood next to Tom Cruise.
Okay. Yeah, that's famous.
At the Home Depot Center for an LA Galaxy match. He was walking through the corridor, and I stood next to him. First thing I noticed, I'm like, hell yeah, he is tiny like me. I looked at him, I'm like, oh my God, I've never seen another person like me.
Were people mobbing him?
Yes, that's
yeah.
the thing.
Well,
That's why
that's
I'm telling you
real
it's
famous.
fake.
I
And he
guess-
was with Katie Holmes at the time, and they had their kids.
Oh, yeah.
That was pre-Jamie Foxx.
Do you have a bunch of security around him?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And they were pushing people back because you mob celebrities. You don't just sit on the subway, Keanu Reeves, biggest star in the world, Matrix, whatever, and you just said, no, nobody bothers me because I just have this attitude. That's garbage.
You're right.
That's not true.
Oh, my God, I fell for garbage.
No, but everything.
I
gonna
feel
go.
for it.
I fell for the garbage.
Yeah, I fell for the internet. All right. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Our producer Sam is here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
She's digging through emails right
I
now.
am.
If you want to sign up to be a BDM, you can go to tomanddan.com. It's on the front page. Easy to do.
Yep.
And then once you're signed up, you can get all the BDM shows on our app just by putting your name and password through the app. Then you can get every show we do through our app.
Yeah.
And that's a mediocre app found on all platforms. Just search Tom and Dan.
Just search Tom and Dan. It pops right up. All of our content's on there. Like Tom was saying, if you're a BDM member, we have a BDM Facebook group. We do live BDM shows, video shows in there. You can check that out. There's a great group in there of like-minded people you can kick around with. And don't forget, we're live on Twitch right now, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. And all replays of what is live right now will be on YouTube later this afternoon. Search for Tom and Dan Live.
Great. Let's do an email.
Okay. Tom, I understand how long you've been with your wife. I also understand that she runs your life. This is about, the subject is about the Louis Armstrong doll.
Okay,
we're going back.
I had a conversation about that yesterday.
We're going
Okay,
back.
good.
There is a Louis Armstrong animatronic doll that I believe your wife fell in love with because her grandparents had it out as a decoration in the home.
And her grandma gave it to her because she's like, I know you and the kids like this because it was sitting on the thing and it was like basically
You can have my black man doll.
Louis Armstrong, and he sings if you press a button and he moves, and it's like
What a wonderful world.
yeah. And it looks
Is that you, Santa Claus?
to me, if you just see it sitting on our table, which she has it on our table, it looks like it's some
Like your
sort of
dining room
racist.
table?
No, they have it out front of their house in their yard, and he's holding a lantern. I was like, my God, man, why do you have that?
It's basically on the cabinet next to our dining room table where all other bric-a-brac and pictures of like a trip to Paris or like already.
Yeah, bric-a-brac hut. Yeah.
We went to Paris one time. Hey, look at my Louis Armstrong doll. Go hit the button.
And
Isn't that Louis Armstrong
I'm
doll
embarrassed.
just one step higher than a Billy Bass?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
It's a Billy
trashy,
Bass.
but the
It is a
trashiness
Louis
doesn't bother me.
Armstrong Billy Bass.
The trashiness doesn't bother me as much as it just looks racist.
It does,
And then
yeah.
I tell her, I'm like, people will, when they come over, they're going to see that. They're like, what the hell?
It's not racist, but it looks racist. That's what we determined, right?
The intent is not racist.
No,
it
it's not.
came out in a
My
series.
thoughts, if it looks like it.
Right, but
it looks like a
I
dog.
actually think it came out as a tribute to like Louis Armstrong. It's just
Well, it was in a series, and then she was like, "This was in a series of other
Bing
animatronic."
Crosby.
Yeah, and they're all
there's
dressed
like,
the same.
Dean Martin.
But then we did a BDM show about it, and we talked to we discussed Ron.
Yeah.
And then we determined that because Louis Armstrong performed at a time where America was racist, and they basically had him dressed up like mean, the uniform Louis Armstrong wore to perform a lot of time was like a butler's outfit or
Yeah,
something.
sort of like
a
a
tuxedo.
yeah, but they gave him tails sometimes.
Yeah.
It almost looked like he was the help.
You know, it was just like borderline. You're
Yeah.
like, just because the environment was racist, I imagine that it absorbed
Yes.
into the entertainment industry and that whole
Yes,
that
it did.
time.
It did.
Is so then just because of that, even though the intent anyway, I tell her, I was like, come on, we can't keep it, and she's like, this is my grandma's. I want to,
I
there's
told you
nothing
guys,
racist
I
about
thought you
it.
guys should just paint it pink. Just pink it up a little bit.
Anyway, so
Sammy
now
Sosa.
Yeah, so say it.
But if you disagree with having the Louis Armstrong singing doll in your house, then she should respect that. If you have to question it, then you are probably right. Love the show. So he's saying you should tell her, like, I don't want this in my house, and she should respect your opinion.
What's the centerpiece of the house? They build everything around it. Like every picture they have on the walls of
you
Louis
do have
Armstrong.
black people in
Everywhere
pictures on
in your
wall,
house.
too.
Your house looks like OJ's after the murders. Like it's like all African art. It's like everything at Tom's house is African art.
Wait
And
a
I don't know
minute.
where he got it.
Where's your glove?
And the glove does not fit.
we reached an agreement to
Never talk about it.
She's gonna hide it when guests come over.
like a Bible. Like, pull a
Well, now
Bible.
it seems even more
That's
racist.
that's what I said.
If you hide it, it's racist.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said, and then
Go
she's
hide
like,
our
"No,
racist doll."
I'm only doing it because you have a problem with it, and then because she's like, "There's nothing wrong with this."
What do you guys say when people are coming over? Because I saw it when I came over for.
Because what if you hide it?
No, I saw
and then
it.
you're
It
like
was
looking
out.
under the sink for some extra toilet paper or something, and you see.
No, I saw it. It was out. It had a little July 4th hat on. Or no, not a July 4th. It had a New Year's hat on. 2022.
Oh no!
Yeah. I see
didn't
what this
see it.
gentleman's saying. That if I say it, it should be done. Right? Like
He's testing you, bro.
yeah, he's calling.
He's calling you out.
He's saying I like
It's
the
your
spoon.
household
Yeah,
too.
it's a get the spoon scenario.
Yeah. And I see how that looks, right? And could be
I'm
a little
just
bit
shocked at because you don't do the things that I do. Like there is a Daniel inside of me that through a series of arguments and through a reactionary Daniel where I pick the thing up and I smash it on the ground. You would never do that, right?
No,
Right.
because she will get. I always look at it like I'm too lazy to have any resistance.
I like that.
Because I do think these things, but I'm not going to go and
it's not worth it.
anything further than a slight discussion. That is a waste of my time. I'm
got
just like
you.
I don't really care that much. You know,
Yeah,
like,
I got you.
and then it turns into everything
Because
like
honestly,
that.
how many people
But
are
that's
coming
how-
over? How many people are hitting the button of "It's a Wonderful World"? Not many.
That's how you lose control, though. This gentleman's right. I've lost total control of my kingdom and,
Okay.
and the respect of my sons.
What do your sons think about it?
The lack of respect my wife shows me.
no.
I'm sure. I think they think. Well, they'll grow up thinking that she's the boss and that their old man was weak.
No, I mean,
That's
what do they
they'll
think of the doll?
Oh, they don't think anything. They don't care. They don't understand. You know,
Okay. How often? Okay, these are the questions I need to know to figure out where it matters in the universe. How often does your wife engage it to sing "It's a Wonderful World"? Louis Armstrong.
Well, when she first got it, a lot, but
Like
now
once a day?
now it just sits there. No one uses it.
You
The
won,
boys
bro.
don't.
You were right.
See, the
Just by
boys liked it
ignoring
when when it was over their great grandparents' house because it
was
like-
special.
well, it
They
was,
probably didn't have any toys, so it was the only thing.
There was just books and like a bunch of war veteran
Yeah.
stuff, and then that thing, and that was the only thing they
Yeah.
could play with. So that's why the great grandma thought they liked it so much, but really it's just there was nothing else.
And your wife likes it because she has a
Nostalgic.
she has a nostalgic heart. A nostalgic heart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
okay.
and then it bleeds into hoarder stuff.
Well,
and,
I mean-
she's like, "Don't throw away my old oil shoes."
Well, I think a
Right.
lot of women have that. My wife has a Ziploc bag that has basically a booger blanket in it that has deteriorated to the point where it looks like the Predator's dreads. Like it's just a old handkerchief that she used to rub under her nose as a baby that she still has in a Ziploc bag. And I threatened one time to take it and throw it away. And she said she'd divorce me. And I said,
Wow.
You're an insane person. If you need the booger blanket from when you were your baby booger blanket, so if I throw this away, you're going to divorce me. It's very hard for me not to test it, right? It's very hard for me not to
I
test
don't think
that.
she'll do it.
I don't think she will either. I'll be like, look, bye-bye booger blanket. Because, like, I'm going to have to do something more than throw it away. Because I did try that one time, and she pulled it out of the
But
trash.
at least she doesn't display it.
She would.
Yeah.
She would.
Yeah.
She would.
If it was
the
like
thought of displaying it is there.
a Nazi flag, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know. It could have been a Nazi flag.
And that's
It's deteriorated now. I don't know what it was.
Because my wife, she's like, well, this isn't this isn't racist. The intent isn't racist.
Well,
There's nothing
hiding
racist.
it is racist.
And
It's sus.
But I said if someone had some
boys
old
say that.
like some art from like
You have Egyptian kings riding camels in your house.
like the original like swastika was some ancient was it an Indian or Chinese like peace sign or something, like there
I always thought that was a Nazi trick. Like they were trying to get me to be on board with the swastika when they were like, "Did you know that the swastika before we had it was a peace-loving symbol?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not falling for your tricks, Nazis. You're not getting me with that.
Well,
it's always been bad."
I think that they just ripped it off from that, but it was, I think before that it existed for different reasons, right? It wasn't a swastika.
Well, probably
it was
everything did, right?
But
like even the cross, it didn't have. At one point in time, it was just two sticks laying on top of each other.
But if say you had some 18, we're talking about like pre-1900s, like some rug with that swastika on it, but it was an ancient Chinese art. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, well, this is before even Germany, the Nazis existed. But still, that symbol has been made to be the swastika,
correct.
so you can't display it. So that's my argument.
Is that why you have two rugs rolled up in your house and your wife will not throw out?
I'm just saying,
What's going on over there?
She won't throw them out.
Things.
She loves old things that used to be something good, but then became bad.
Even though if the intent's not racist, it takes on like people will think that, and then therefore. Like,
not worth the trouble.
Not exactly.
Yes. I agree.
And then her nostalgia keeps her from throwing this garbage away, and that's why it's a mental illness to me. Like, why?
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Why?
To me.
Mild hoarding.
Why do
problems.
people get so nostalgic over things? And then Crystal yells at me that I'm not a real human, and so everybody
that
else
is also correct.
That's true.
Everybody else gets nostalgic over things.
You're not a real human. She's too real of a human.
I think maybe if it was like a one of a kind thing, I'd be like, yeah, you could be sentimental. But it's like that Louis Armstrong doll.
We need a story.
Millions of them exist.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, it was in her grandparents' house since she was a kid, and then she's got memories of it always being there. Same thing with the French witch. Like they're still sitting in my garage.
Put the Louis Armstrong doll in your bedroom. Then
Put
it away in your bedroom.
Armstrong doll in the lap of the French witch.
That
and
seems
display
racist.
that in the center of the house. Build the entire house around it like a mummy tomb. The French witch is holding a slight. And let's just say, let me point something out about this Louis Armstrong doll. This isn't a Louis Armstrong doll where you look at it and you go, "That's Louis Armstrong." It's a Louis Armstrong doll where they have made him in a butler body with a big fat bobblehead head
and big teeth.
Yeah, it's a little exaggerated. It's like a caricature.
That's what I said. Yeah,
it's a caricature of him and make him look like sort of a buffoon.
But she said like everybody,
she's
like
right.
the series that came out, they're all bobblehead style, and it was a character of all of them.
Yeah, it is. That's true.
Like,
Dean Martin, Bing Crosby.
Yeah, all the whatever.
Yes, but
Mel
in
Torme.
history, a lot of people made art like that, specifically targeting black people.
I know. That's what
and not white people. So that's why it's different.
He said all this. He's on our side.
Just saying.
He's with us.
But I don't want it in the house. It's just like
do want it in the
my
house.
grandma's, and it's just like it's not the intent. I'm like, this is not racist.
I want the French witch holding him. I will not stop until I get that.
Like a baby.
Yeah, like a babe. Let's wrap Louis Armstrong in swaddling clothes like Jesus and have him hold
And
it.
she could be Mary.
Dude, let's do a living nativity.
Nativity scene in front in his meadow.
Living nativity in next year for Christmas. Living
Yes.
nativity. It's French witch holding baby Jesus Louis Armstrong, and he's singing. I'll rig it so he's continuously singing, and then I'll be one of the wise men. You can be a wise man. You can be Mary.
The French witch is Mary.
Oh yeah, you're right. You
Yeah.
can be. Were there any other ladies there? You can be an angel. You can be like
All
Gabriel.
right.
Gabriel the angel over the top of the what is that? It was a barn, right? Jesus was born. There was
Yes.
an ox, and then there was a cow, and there were three wise men, and then the shepherds
I'll
came.
be the heifer.
No, you're too skinny for that.
Next email.
Hey, Dan, I heard you mention on ACT that you've been listening to jazz lately, and I know of a band that you would love. They're called The Comet Is Coming, so check them out if you haven't heard of them. Totally up your alley.
The Comet is coming.
The comet is coming.
The name
Hashtag
is-
don't look up,
the
right?
name- yeah, I was going to say the name's kind of sad.
How do you find new music nowadays?
Spotify.
Is it?
Or word of mouth.
You know what I've been doing a lot lately? Believe it or
concerts.
not? I've been doing a lot of Apple Music Radio. They have a live radio channel with a lot of weird shows on it, but they're always showcasing new music. So if I'm like rendering a video or
Is it
something,
curated by like the host?
yeah,
Okay.
Like Matt Wilkinson is one of the hosts. They've got Jade, who used to be in town.
Yep.
She's on Apple Hits, which is more like a little bit more approachable, not new music, but like stuff you like. But Jade Donovan, I think we're going to talk to her soon, hopefully for a weird job. But she's working for Apple Music, and her show's really good. Those shows are good. Andrea and I don't think it's that we like radio so much as I sort of like hearing what other people want to share with me. So
Yeah.
it's not a love for radio. I had to figure it out one day because I was like, man, it's not the radio aspect of it at all. It's just,
Yeah.
I like it when somebody says, hey, have you heard this? And then they play it for me. Like, I'm kind of like, okay.
And sometimes they'll give you a little background.
Yeah, I like that. I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah.
And Matt Wilkinson, I usually catch him in the mornings. It's usually like 7 a.m. to like 9 a.m. And I'll put him on in here while I'm just kind of walking around and stuff.
The idea of a person curating music that they like, and especially if they have experience in the music industry,
Angel
or
does
have-
that.
have
With
certain-
What the Hell is Angel Listening to?
and they present it to you, is a good idea that should always last. Like, and I think people think because we make a lot of jokes about radio that we're saying that premise or everything that gets played on
no,
radio
just
is
the corporate aspect, the BS.
But it's also how it's distributed. Everybody's listening through streaming. You know what I'm saying? Like iHeart is probably, morphing into streaming and getting away
is.
from the AM, FM way to distribute their product.
Sure.
Right?
What would be
Like,
your
that's what's
top
happening.
5 songs you would put on your playlist, Tom?
That's going to be hard for him.
I know, that's
But,
why-
sometimes he surprises
We
me.
know
like,
fun.
You know what's weird? Sometimes he'll surprise me with some song that I never knew he liked, and then he'll like know all the words to it.
I know
Like-
all
like,
the
you know
words to American Pie. Is
Don
it,
McLean?
Bye Bye Miss American Pie. What's that song called? Is it called Bye Bye Miss American Pie?
A long,
Yeah,
long time ago.
Yeah.
That's Don McLean, right?
Yes.
Yep. I know all the words of that.
You also know a
That is
lot
surprising.
of right, and then he'll go, "Look, I know Don McLean. I know every Wu-Tang song." That's it. And I'm like, "What?
I
You know
do
Don
know-
McLean and Wu-Tang?
And that song is like that song's like 8 minutes
This
long.
guy's you talk about everybody's gonna say Daniel's a crazy one. No, if your only musical
I don't know the
knowledge
extended
is Don
version.
McLean and Wu-Tang, then you're a weirdo.
NWA. I know a lot of NWA and a lot of Lagwagon, No Effects.
Well, I support that because I know
yeah,
those
like
two.
a lot of punk rock and Wu Tang.
Okay, what about you?
But
Sam?
only from the anything from the '90s.
Just
hip hop
listen to
and
semantics. We do a music question every show.
Do you have a top 5 that you would throw on
Top
there?
5? I don't know. That's a hard question. I'd have
And
to
where
sit
do you
think
find
about
new
it because I
music?
listen to a lot of music. I check out bands that I listen to on Spotify, and then I'll just put on their channel's radio, and then it'll have similar artists.
Right.
Also, going to shows, I found a lot of new bands, like opening bands that are opening for the headliner I'm going to see. So that's always a fun way because it is interesting to find a new band when you see them live.
That's my
I feel
favorite
like
way.
it's better that way because sometimes you'll listen to something on Spotify or wherever you listen to your music and it doesn't sound good, but then you'll see them live and you're like, wow, this is really good.
Right, I agree.
over the summer, me and Crystal listened to a lot of Cashed Out because
I like Cashed Out.
It's very chill
Yeah.
music.
When-
Yeah.
when we were in a pool,
accessible. Positive,
yeah.
positive messages. You can leave it on for kids. Normally, he's going to be talking about keeping a positive vibe and not letting your troubles get you down. I'm like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially during COVID. Jesus.
I mean, there is the Weed Man song with my boys.
There's a lot of weed in the songs,
yeah.
but,
But
they
never
don't
ask.
know.
Yeah,
May never says anything about that.
They never say like, "Hey, what's weed?" They don't listen to the lyrics.
Although
They're
she
just like
did-
their daddy.
One day,
I know.
one day she did say, she's like, your eyes are really irritated. I was like,
She used the word irritated?
yeah. And I'm like, yes, because I talk about allergies. And I'm like, yes, they are.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I don't know how to.
I wonder, when I should move my weed drawer because
Where is it?
It's in the bathroom,
Mine's in the, like, where you get forks and knives in the kitchen. It's like right over.
and there's
Do
a
your
lot.
kids go in your bathroom?
Yeah. They
Oh.
primarily shower in our bathroom
So they can
because
see soapy butt?
it's
Dude, how does you? Man, you're.
I don't know what's going
Well,
on.
we
He's
got
living
the bigger
dream.
shower.
No, but you're living the dream.
But
You're-
they're tiny.
No, he's doing
I know,
what I
well,
want,
they're
though. Maisie
spoiled.
takes her own showers in her own shower.
Right. Why wouldn't you?
Well, I want her
I'd love to have my own
I
shower as a
want my
kid.
child to spend some time with me at some point.
Not
Oh,
in the
no.
shower.
I was like time to get out, and then I hold the towel, and one by one they come and I dry them.
Do they have little robes?
No, not robes. And then I dry them. I dry their feet. They walk.
Each little piggy.
That's sweet.
And then they run off.
Do they wash their legs and feet?
No. I don't know. You don't know what they're doing in there.
You don't even check and see if they're clean?
And they're like, I want my Pokemon card now. And then I have to get the Pokemon deck in my
In the
underwear drawer.
shower?
No, in my underwear drawer. And I'm looking through it. And
Wait,
Like
is
it's
your
drugs.
weed in there?
No, that's in the bathroom.
So the weed drawer's in the bathroom. The Pokemon
Where they
drawer
shower,
is
by
in
the
your
way.
underwear.
What if they're hot box in the shower?
There's no flour. It's all pills.
Oh my God!
They're eating
like
gummies?
Like Whitney Houston over
They
here.
don't, they're like me. They're not curious about anything. They don't look in
Damn
the
it.
drawers. They don't ask any questions. They just go about their life. Like if I can take their toys and they're like anything they want, they'll never notice it's gone. That's the advantage of having your own kids. Is
That's
that
fantastic.
They're like I know myself, and so like it. All their Christmas presents were in the garage, just stacked in Amazon boxes. They never asked one question.
Oh God! No, Maisie was digging
about
through
what's
everything
that
in
or
the
whatever.
house. She's going through the entire house, gutting it.
Yeah, like there's a wrapping paper. Like my wife had wrapped the paper from the Santa gifts in different like wrapping paper.
You're supposed
Like,
to do that, yeah.
That's so weird to me.
Yeah, I was like, my sons will never notice. Like,
No.
like they.
I did when I was a kid. Yeah, I noticed that kind of stuff.
That's why they do it. Like,
Yeah,
Mrs.
Maisie's
Christmas,
like
we're
me,
gonna
yeah.
wrap it different so that Santa has different.
Well, she's
paper.
like that. She's wrapping it as if she were the child.
Yeah.
I wrap as if I were the child. Me and Crystal would notice that.
I'm not joking.
She's super aware. I got a little bit of that. Not
When
even
did people start doing that, where they separated presents from Santa and parents?
When did they never? Like I always remember that. So I've got a full. I've got 45 years.
When
of
I was
having
growing
that.
up, there was Santa's
I
presents.
don't know that I
and-
knew anybody that did that.
And then there's this new thing.
My
where
mom was
wife,
a teacher though too, so a lot of like teachers have a knack like. Male and female teachers, I think they almost like download more of that like kitschy fun kind of a. Like my mom had the teacher fun stuff, right? So like, yeah, of course Santa wrapped different gifts in different paper, of course.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's
but
what you
I
do.
didn't realize. I felt like that's a new trend that parents are taking
probably
credit
is, yeah.
for presents instead of Santa.
Well, okay, there's
yeah.
there's this
We
new
don't do
trend.
that.
There's this new trend, but it's not for the credit; it's for the shame. And my wife explained, she's like, we have to because we got them hoverboards or whatever and they're like expensive, like 2 hoverboard, whatever, it's like $500.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
With a go-kart attachment. Anyway, Crystal's like, we got to have those presents come from us because if they come from Santa, you can't, it's a faux pas because then other kids, that can't afford expensive presents are going to wonder why some kids got expensive presents.
I don't
my
tailor
God.
my,
I was like,
I
what?
don't tailor my
Wow.
Santa for other people. No.
Yeah, but I'm like, that's because my sons were better behaved. The poor ones are worse behaved.
Well, Santa has a budget and he has to pick
I was
favorites.
very well behaved. How dare you?
Santa has to pick favorites.
I didn't get coal though.
But then I liked it because I was like, I want my sons to know it came from me. It was like the Kenny Powers joke where I thank me for this meal because I bought this.
exactly.
I mess up everything. I'm in the bathroom this morning putting my deodorant on, and Maisie's like, "That smells really good." She's like, "Santa got you that." I was like, "Oh yeah, I thought Mom got me that." Like I don't remember nothing. I don't know who got me nothing. Like I got a Britney Spears shirt to replace the one that I have with a hole in the pit, and I mistakenly said like, "Oh, we got to return this because it's too big. It was a large, and I need a medium now." And I was like, "Oh, we got to return this. You got the receipt, right?" And then Andrea's like, like, "Oh my God, you mentioned the receipt." I was like, Maisie doesn't know that we need a receipt.
Yeah. No,
I'm getting worn out for it, and I'm like, well, I want to wear the shirt. I like the
I'm
shirt.
so glad I don't have kids. All the secrets and lies.
Yeah, you don't want to lie.
But the problem is I think like the Andreas and the Crystals, they spend more time with like trying to like hold on to the whole
magic of
make
the
it perfect,
childhood, yeah.
which is great because
Yeah.
they only
But don't
have,
drive yourself nuts about it.
I know, but that's what I tell them. I'm like, they're not putting 2 and 2 together. Like you're trying to
Those
cover
kids
your
don't
tracks like you're a GD serial killer. Like we're like, oh no, the DNA's on the present. I was like, my son's literally the last present they picked up. They're like, who's this from? And then Chris was like, it has the Santa paper. Like they never put.
Don't even know.
And I'm like, see, you waste like all that extra effort for nothing. Anyway, bye. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Hey, get our app. All of our content's on there. It's totally free. We don't talk about it a lot, but we've had an app for over 10 years.
I know, it's crazy. But,
That's insane.
Tony just told me that our BDM page for BDM members only, it just reached its 7-year anniversary.
On
I'm like,
Friday,
7
yeah.
years?
Oh, yeah,
Crazy,
today,
dude.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
7 years on the 7th. What is that?
That means nothing.
That means
I don't
nothing.
believe in anything. But yeah, you can get our app. All of our content's on there. We're live on Twitch right now. A lot of people don't know we are. If you thrive for that live component because it gives you connection or something, we got you covered. Twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. You can watch us. It's not just live for listening. It's live for watching.
You can get audio only, too.
Yep.
I know people, they'll get their Twitch app if they want to listen to us live. Now, if you do listen through Twitch, you'll hear, like, we'll jump around, record shows
We'll
out
change
of order.
guests. We'll go to the bathroom. You hear
Yeah.
us eating chips.
Sometimes we'll record, like, an OG recap that we do for medium only.
I
like-
sing during the breaks. Or I drink a BioLite. I brush my mustache.
and we usually start around 10:30, Monday through Friday
Yep.
on Twitch. So it's like, and you'll get a notification that we're recording. So when you get the notification, just hit audio only, and you can listen to the audio only, and then you
For
can listen
hours.
to the breaks and stuff because we just leave it rolling.
Yep, we just let it roll.
So you're getting a little more, but a lot of times it's just us silently looking at our phones.
That's true.
Waiting
There's
for
that.
it.
There's true. There is that.
Ah.
But sometimes it's kind of fun.
I'm
Like some
surprised-
of my favorite things to look at on adult websites are the girls reading the chat room fully clothed.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're just reading and they're like,
Yeah. Oh my God, don't say that. I'm going to ban you. I will ban you. I will.
and I'm sitting there
What
and I'm
is-
watching. I'm like, and I'm just watching. I'm not saying anything.
Okay, this
and they're
is-
like,
Why would you say that? Oh my God. Go private, Chucker69. Go private. $7 more, guys. I'll take this top off.
and
$7.
And I'm just sitting. Well, they had already raised like 100, but you know,
gotcha.
or
Gotta meet the goal.
$93. They needed
Yeah.
7 more to pull a boob out.
Okay, let's talk about this because I
have voicemail, so if
Yeah,
you-
okay,
if you-
yeah, but-
like, just go where you're going, buddy. This is your show.
and I think this is going to be we're going to evolve out of this. So and there might be only this period of time where this content has gone on because I see a lot of like social media influencers and content providers are able now to do their show and read the chat room simultaneously.
I try to do it, but I'm bad at it. It's
Well,
hard.
you need
I have
practice.
to do a little bit of it, and then I have to look right into your eyes to
Yeah,
reset
you'd have
myself.
to have a screen right in front of you like I do.
It's
kinda.
too hard.
And then so they've gotten good at that, and so this may phase out. But there is a chunk of time where a lot of content at the beginning of the like web shows and podcasts and stuff are just the hosts or whatever reading one-sided conversations with the chat room and then commenting on single people. And the viewer has no idea what's
Yeah, but
happening.
you have asked-
and I get so frustrated by it because I'm like, what is this content?
But I watch
Why
it.
are you recording it?
I will sit and watch. There's something.
It's weird. Why though? You don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, but I feel like a voyeur. Like I feel like somebody. Like imagine if you had a machine like in Monsters Inc. where you could pull a window or a door from anywhere in the world in and just open it and look in it. Right? It's kind of what I'm doing. So I have this weird video of this girl somewhere in the world, or this guy, whatever. But there is a voyeuristic aspect to it where I'm trying to figure out, and there is some sort of joy I get in watching it and trying to figure it out.
Okay, I never even because I'm like, what is this
happening right
What's
now?
the content? Because the content is a person reading a chat room and then saying like. Just like you're making fun of it, like, yes, I do like that. And then I'm like, I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah,
like,
you have to. Yeah.
And
Well,
then,
you'd have
but
to
is
read
it-
the chat room too.
So I have to be reading the chat room, but they're a lot of times they're responding on stuff that's already scrolling by, especially if they're
you
popular.
gotta be quick, bro.
Well, because and they're like, oh, let's see what's the chat room saying, and then they'll go back and be like, oh yeah. But I'm like, and they're answering half the question without telling us what they. I'm just watching it like, what's the content?
No, I know what you mean. There's another phase, and I want to say like this was years ago when these web type camera show, because everything's going webcam, right? I mean, like just the sex workers have got a leg up because they've been doing it for years, right?
Yeah,
But everybody now
has a video component.
Yeah, everybody has like a video.
It's so
component.
easy, and it's like, why not?
It really is. And so, like, I remember you'd be watching these girls, and they'd like, especially the sex workers, you'd be watching them on the, I guess, what is that called? Like a campsite. Mm-hmm. And you're watching it, and then the girl's like, yeah. And then automatically she goes, she's in private now. Like, she'd be in mid-sentence,
Right.
and then she'd go private.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that I
And I'd be
understand
like,
because,
She don't have to tell you where she's going.
but that I
It'd be
understand.
She got her coin.
It would be polite if she
She
would say,
knows
"Hey
you'll come back
guys,
the next day."
I got enough coin. I will be going private." I just like a little courtesy.
Well, that
Jesus.
I understand
You know?
because she is just trying
a
to
jerk.
solicit money
She's
to go.
trying to get you to.
And her content is going to eventually be nudity, and then she's just trying to solicit people to pay for that nudity. So that is totally understandable. But I'm talking about like if you have a show, quote unquote, or whatever you're doing, and it's just you.
Have you
reading,
ever watched a TikTok live?
Yes, and I am.
It's very much that.
I
Most
know.
of the time, people don't know how to, like, how, if we talk to the chat or whatever on this show, we know we have a listening audience that may not be watching the video, so you have to kind of reference what
You
the
back up.
comment
Of course,
is saying.
yeah. You back up a
And,
touch.
Yeah, on TikTok, it's just like, yeah, no, I don't like that either. And you're like, what are you talking
That's
what
what
you're
he's talking
That's
about.
what I get old man mad about.
get mad about. All right,
Because
You
I'm
got to
like,
follow the chat. Then.
what is it?
I like that.
It's not the content.
Who are you
because-
talking to?
Well, maybe I'm an old school talk radio purist, but I'm just like, if you're listening to talk radio, I want to get comedy out of it, or some information, or just hear people have a conversation. I want to hear talk. I don't want to hear just half sentences of people responding to a chat room I'm not looking
Yeah,
at.
but the minute you polish it, though, a little bit. I was watching a video about this yesterday. I was watching a
people
video.
that get good at simultaneously having the conversation, reading the chat room, answering, like, then I understand. I'm like,
Well, no,
good
I
for you.
mean this person. Okay, for you, that's good. But there is the voyeuristic, sneaky aspect of watching it is killed the minute you polish it. The minute you take the production value, or a lot of these shows, like a lot of
And maybe
TikTokers,
a younger
look at the
generation.
production value of a lot of TikTokers and the video content they're putting out. It's garbage, right? It's not good.
Yeah, it's just thrown out there.
If you give them better production values, though, and give them like the best cameras and the graphics and an editor and it just doesn't hit the same.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
And I'm falling into like old man liked what he liked back in the day, and now it's changing,
Right.
and then the new generation.
That drives me
likes that,
crazy,
yeah.
dude. Nothing drives me more mad than when I see something that the production values are bad, but people are loving it, and I see how simple it could be for them to up the production value. It is very hard for me to choke that down sometimes because I have to force myself to understand that sometimes the fact that it's a little grimier, a little grittier, it's not polished, is helping in its consumption, is pulling people in for some weird way. Like your mind is curated to like the thing that looks more natural and
It's-
real.
yeah.
When you see it polished, you're like, what is this corporate garbage that's being fed into
Yes.
my eyeballs? Like, I don't know and I think that's like an instantaneous switch in your brain.
Yeah, where they want the more amateur because it seems more real.
Yeah, it's almost like you put more effort into it, you put more graphics, and you work harder at it, and then you release it, and people are like, this is crap.
So, but my question is, like, and Daniel kind of already answered it, like, you like the voyeuristic aspect of just watching someone do that, but is like, do people like that content?
If they're watching it, they like it.
But why?
I don't know if that's true, right?
Do they like?
I watch a lot of
Some
stuff I
people
don't
do
like.
hate watch things. Yeah.
Well, I don't hate it,
Or
but
are they
I'm
curious by? They're just
curious
like,
watching, maybe.
Yeah, because because the actual content is nothing because they're not giving me any information.
Like you curious watch a lot of stuff, right? Like you and Sam
for
consume
5 seconds
more TikTok than I do.
Yeah,
I think.
but like I see that TikTok live, I may click on it and be like, "What's this?" And
What's
then
Big Tim talking about?
And then the person's like,
Right,
"Yeah,"
right.
like and he's talking to someone, and I'm like, "All right, it's going to keep going." Like it's for 5 seconds.
Oh, you never interact?
No, because I
You don't interact with anything, so I don't
Yeah,
know why
yeah.
I asked that, but
Maybe I would assume that if it was a popular person on TikTok, my question wouldn't get answered. It's kind of like I don't
You'd be surprised.
enter drawings or whatever, because I'm just like, what's the chances? And I'm like not curious to ask these people anything. So
I won a drawing a couple weeks ago. I won
what?
like a Publix. I won like a Publix gift card. I filled out some receipt and then in the mail.
oh, you got one?
you filled out the receipt?
I always do.
Really?
I told you. We've talked
He
about
keeps,
this.
yeah, he brings them back.
This
and
is Andrea got me doing
fills
this.
out the surveys.
Yeah.
And then what is it online?
Yeah.
No, it's just you can submit it online or you can type in the code. Like you get a store code and then they just ask you a couple 3 questions and you hit enter. It's not that hard to win a $20 gift card.
Yeah. I've never even
you could have had a $20 gift card.
every single survey anybody's ever asked me to take, I've never.
I'll
done.
make you real mad. I'll make you real mad. That trial that I talked about months ago, I haven't talked about this on the air. That COVID trial that my wife was in months ago. She was in this very, very, like years ago, I guess, early on when COVID started. they were looking for volunteers to go into the trial to,
For the vaccine, right?
For the vaccine.
Yeah.
And so she ended up getting it from me, and then every time they swab her nose, they give her $50 cash.
Yeah.
So, every time she turns in a nose swab to aid in their research, they give her $50. So she's up to like $900 now for getting COVID.
Yeah, that's what...
It's insane.
When you're organized and you know things are out there, you could capitalize on it.
She's like that Andrew Lisco guy, remember? The guy that would wear the green suit with all the white question marks all over it? She's like,
There's free money everywhere. All you have to do is just fill out the form.
Yeah.
that weirdo?
Well, your wife's, she's got the upper hand because she's like, literally her genetics is filling out forms because her mom was a sweeper.
You're right.
That's
It's in the
true,
blood.
yeah. She was set up for success. In that
It's so
aspect.
funny that's in the blood. It's like natural form filler.
Yeah. It's like Odell Beckham Jr.'s son can catch. Like, I guarantee it. Like, if I throw something at him, he'll catch it.
Oh, real quick, because I'll get some voicemail so we can finish up this segment. Where are we at on Antonio Brown?
He's just out there.
What's he
social
doing?
Living
media.
his life.
No, there's
Going crazy,
no
yeah.
more updates.
They haven't officially fired him.
I
don't
know.
think.
I keep waiting
but
for the official fire.
Bruce Arians said he's no longer a part of the Bucks,
Right.
but they haven't made it official because I'm sure every news
Put him on
source-
the Falcons. Why not? Come on.
I can't imagine any other team would ever pick him up now because they would be a laughingstock. Because
We already are. Come on over.
they
Come on over.
They, how are you going to be the coach that picks up the guy that walked off a game in the middle of a game because he was mad like that?
Has anybody else? I know
They'll clown you.
we've talked about this incessantly, but has anybody else done that in any other sport?
Yes, Scottie Pippen, and I remember.
yes!
Remember he got
He walked
mad.
to the locker room.
He walked
right?
out, during the middle of the game.
There's got to be more than that. Sam, do a quick search maybe and see.
I'm sure I've never seen it in the NFL. Now,
never seen it either.
It probably has happened, just not
I
with
thought
that.
Ted Lasso is the only person
Hold on,
I've
I
ever
got
seen
top
do it.
15 athletes who quit during games.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Okay. What
Is it
what do we
like
got?
you have to click
Jose
each-
Reyes.
Baseball?
Yep, baseball. He
Racist.
played 9 seasons with the Mets.
If you give me a name, I can guess what sport.
Wow, no, that's great.
He hit a bunt single in the first inning of a game against the Cincinnati Reds and promptly pulled himself from the game to a very mixed crowd reaction. With that hit, he had a .337057 average on the season. So he just
But then he just-
hit a bunt and then just left.
Why?
Does not say.
I like that.
Did he go to first base or no? He just hit the bunt and then walked.
Does not say.
I like all of this.
I'd have to look into that.
Because-
Rory McIlroy.
Oh, I need a golfer.
Yeah.
He quit the tournament. Let's see.
That would have been.
Well, 2012 and 2014 were fantastic years for him. 2013 was a
beast.
disaster. Prior to tying for 25th place at the 2013 Masters, he missed the cut in Abu Dhabi, losing in the opening round of the World Match Play Championship and struggled at the Honda Classic. Starting on the back nine of the ladder as the defending champion, was 7 over 8 holes and opened the 18th by knocking his second shot into the water. He quit the tournament at this point, later citing a toothache.
So he
Okay,
was
the old
losing, and he
toothache.
just said, "I got
That's some baby stuff.
Hey, my ankle hurts.
Yeah.
I got a toothache.
Well, he probably knew he was not going to win it, and then he didn't. He's like, "Screw it, I want to play the rest."
But you say I'm not winning this, and something's off. I'm quitting.
But that's
Why
like
say-
that's like when you're losing at a video game and you throw the
Yeah, yeah.
controller at the TV.
People get
But
mad
I
at
think
quitting.
toothache,
I yell
think
at my son,
toothache
"Never
is worse,
quit."
though, because I know you're lying.
Yeah, but at least you could be like, maybe he's telling the truth.
I don't say that though. I don't
Yeah.
give you the maybe.
Yeah. Or he's not going to get the backlash if he cites something. By the way, what Antonio Brown claimed was the only thing I could think of that would kind of take the backlash a little bit.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Either
didn't wanna go and he was
either
in.
he's brilliant with coming up with excuses, or
Right.
his publicist told him like, "Hey, say this." At least maybe people
now
could be
I
like,
mean he was pre-planning to quit during the game.
God, Norm
Yeah, yeah.
says in our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/Tom and In Live, Norm says there was an NBA player last year traded while he was in the middle of a game. They benched him the rest of the game. That's blanking horrible. I mean, is it? You still got a job. I mean, you don't have to play. You just sit the bench. You're still getting paid.
Listen, these players don't care where they play. They care about the money. Like, if they don't give a damn what city they're in,
I'd be kind of happy. Where am I going? You know, where am I a Pelican now? Where am I now? Am I going to Orlando?
It's just a business. Like, he's like, all right, I'll sit down, and then when I leave here, I'll get in
a
my
limo
bus,
and
or whatever, and then I'll go play somewhere else.
What else?
We had one guy, Claudine Angelo, who's an MMA fighter. He just he straight up quit during the middle of a fight.
Oh, I like that.
Weird for an MMA fighter because you think there's so much machismo and like.
But if your head's not right, you could get killed. Right? If you drop your guard completely down, you're standing there like an idiot, and you're
he quit basically because his mouth guard kept coming out. So the referee, the referee had to keep like pausing the fight, and then like the third time it happened, he's like, the referee's like, you got to just fight through it, and he like jumped the fence and left.
All right,
I can't fight without a mouth guard.
Yeah.
Technically, you're not allowed to. John Cruck, which is another baseball player. They say John Cruck may have been a grimy, overweight, chain-smoking non-Hall of Famer, but he still managed to make a name for himself as a respectable player. That's a rude way to announce somebody. On July 30th, 1995, in the middle of his 10th Major League season, John Cruck hit a first-inning single for the Chicago White Sox off of Orioles pitcher Scott Erickson. Although he possessed a .308 average that year, he also had a pair of bad knees. He hobbled down the baseline, stood on first, and promptly retired from the game.
Like, I have on first base?
Yes.
Like, he's like, I retire. Like, what happens? Like, do they lose that base runner? Or like, I guess you
can someone take his place?
You can get a substitute
designated runner.
You can get a substitute runner, right? In baseball, I don't know baseball that well, but I think
know how that works.
I think if you get on first base, you could.
Baseball
substitute.
is weird because it's the only sport that like you can will you be a big fat chungus, hit the ball and be
Love
like,
it.
I'm too fat to
Love
run.
it.
I'm gonna have my friend run. I'm only good at hitting. Is that really a thing?
I think it is. Yeah, you could get.
How is that sporting? Right?
Baseball,
the sport should include running, though.
Yeah. It's baseball. They got old timey rules.
Kevin Prince Boateng, which is a soccer player, midway through the first half of a match, racist chants. I remember this one. In 2013, racist chants began to rain down on some of the players. It sparked the mass response by picking up the match ball, kicking it into the crowd, removing his jersey, and walking off the field.
And I support that. Yeah, he's like, I'm out. And I'm like, I don't blame you.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not playing here while people yell the N-word at me and throw bananas on them. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was horrible. You are correct, sir. Please leave.
They cleaned a lot of the stuff up after that because then everybody started standing behind him, and that made a change. So that guy literally started a change, and then they started immediately kicking people out, which they should have always done.
And you started seeing that everywhere. They even changed it in the video games. Like, you'd start playing FIFA, and before you'd start playing FIFA, there'd be a big, like, we do not tolerate. It was like a zero tolerance racism policy. Like, they are like, we are.
Yeah.
And then that's when they started installing the cameras in all the stadiums to do the face recognition because people were throwing batteries and pennies and stuff. And they were just like banning people left and right.
And it was bad over in like certain parts of Europe too, where that's
Russia's the worst though.
Yeah.
Russia's just hellhole.
This is kind of scary. Bobby Isaac. You guys familiar with this NASCAR driver?
Sounds familiar.
He had 73 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series wins, 170 top 10s, 49 poles, and a place in the 2016 Hall of Fame class, but he famously exited mid-race during the 1973 Talladega 500. Despite holding the lead on lap 90 of the August 12th race, Isaac suddenly pulled into the pit, got out of his car, and quit. He may have been spooked by the death of Larry Smith earlier in the race, but the driver cited voices in his head instead. Isaac allegedly told his car's owner, "I heard a voice tell me to park this thing, and that's exactly what I did."
Really? I think it was Jesus.
That's weird.
Yeah.
So now, I guess all of these.
Has anybody investigated this? That sounds like something for your show.
Yeah, I should look into that.
Right?
One, right?
That sounds like this guy's got some ghost riding with him, or Jesus is his co-pilot.
Or he could be schizophrenic.
Like,
that's true.
You
could have been drunk.
You pull over and then you just climb out your window of your car and then you just walk into the pits. Less of a spectacle.
Not
than
as
like
dramatic.
Antonio Brown taking off his shirt and then hyping up the crowd.
Also, again, I think that on this one, if you have voices in your head, you should park your car, and that goes for just a regular citizen.
I always wonder.
Don't drive with voices in your brain.
The voices in their head, does it sound like them or a different person?
Different.
So it sounds like a different person, and they are.
Do you get to choose the voice?
Well, your brain is doing
I think it just comes to you.
to park this car.
Well, technically, your brain is doing it, so I
Yes.
guess you are choosing it, but maybe not consciously.
It's like Waze. You can choose like Mr. T,
Fraggle Rock.
Yeah, Fraggles.
I want an old British lady.
They have that. They have that.
Please park your car.
This will probably be the last one. Mike Wallace. Back in his day with the Miami Dolphins, wide receiver Mike Wallace had a tendency to get upset about his lack of playing time. In the worst instance, after not receiving a pass in the first half of a 2014 game against the New York Jets, Wallace walked off the field with 2:49 left in the second quarter and told the coach that he no longer wanted to play in the game. That's it.
Okay.
He
so,
just didn't want to play anymore.
And you know, it's funny because that's pre-social media. I never even knew about
Never
that.
knew about
Like,
it.
and that was
Right.
a Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I said he also refused to answer post-game press questions.
Never
electing
heard about
instead-
this.
He elected instead to have teammate Brandon Gibson stand in front of him and speak on his behalf.
Now this is crazier than the
That
Antonio Brown
is.
thing a little bit.
I agree.
And I've never seen this. I would watch this.
yeah. Because pre-social media, you know, it just gets lost in some sports center thing. You know, no one
Plus,
sees
again,
it. Dude.
I'd like to reiterate that this is just a rando guy. This
And
is
look, this
not,
guy got traded to the Minnesota Vikings 3 months later, so Antonio Brown still has a shot.
That you like.
Damn,
I'm
Sam
surprised.
coming with the stats. She's like, "Yo, this is the precedent set."
Although Antonio Brown's got a few strikes against him, so I don't know.
Yeah, like 5 to 9.
And he
strikes.
and he doesn't have a shot because no one knew like this that with was it Wallace or
Yeah,
what-
Mike Wallace.
Mike Wallace like no the audience didn't know it happened or maybe only a few, so another team could play him and nobody would know. With Antonio Brown, you can't do it. Because
Well,
everybody knows he quits. Everybody saw it.
It wasn't pre-social media because Ghost of Manute Bull in our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live, he said, well, this wasn't quite pre-social media. And I agree, it wasn't.
What
but
year?
But I don't,
2014.
But I don't think that there was as much emphasis on it. I don't think that we got news from it as much. I really feel that way.
Dude,
I
there's
think
a
that
big
we're
difference 7 years or whatever. Now it's 8 years ago.
We're not even aware of how much it's ramped up. Like, if you could go back and sit in 2014 and feel what social media felt like, it wouldn't be like this.
It was new. It was newer.
Newer.
Yeah, and it still wasn't. It hadn't. I guess infiltrated everything. Right. It's infiltrated everything we do. Every media we have.
I mean,
everybody has a
some
smartphone.
people have switched to it. Like, I mean,
Dude, how many people in 2014 had smartphones? Way less, right?
Way less than now.
Yeah, no, I mean now. Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean,
of course. Everyone has a smartphone now.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like now it's nearly 100% of everybody our age has a smartphone, right? My mom,
Yes.
everybody's parents, like, you know, maybe your grandparents don't have one because they can't use it,
And
but a lot of people's
incremental-
grandparents have them.
incremental ease, right? Everything's gotten better, a little bit incremental, but everything's gotten faster. Everything's gotten better. Well, if you take, I guess, close to 10 years of that, and you start to stack that and add it up, I think that would be you'd have to do that to get a perfect representation of how much more ramped up it is.